And that next game is Brentford at home on Wednesday. And the positive, as he says, they did find a way from going 1 down when they were shocked.
Yeah, they did. And you'd like to think that Arsenal would find a way, especially going down to 10 men, the form they've shown up to this point this season, you know, even coming off of 2 big games. But that's what happens when you're going to try and win the league. You've got all of the games are big now, you know, and the teams you're going to play, they know it's a big game for them as well. I thought that Chelsea looked very dangerous. And with 11 men, I think that would have been a very, very tough game for us. But you have to be happy with a point away from home because, again, all that does is then puts a bit more pressure on the home game that's coming that you have to win.
OK, let's get the thoughts now of the Arsenal manager. Here he is, Mikel Arteta.
Well, Mikel, a real full-blooded derby for sure. What do you make of it as a contest, firstly?
Yeah, a really tough one. I think 2 teams that they play with a lot of intensity, aggression, will. You could sense that in every tackle, in every action, how much it was at stake. So that made it a game that in the beginning, especially the first 20 minutes, you could not see much, especially in any long sequences of play. And then the game started to settle, and yeah, after the red card, when we needed to, settle, make the adjustment at half-time, in the first action straight after the half-time, we concede a foul, a wide free kick, and then a corner, and concede a goal.
Did you expect the sort of physically intense game we got? I mean, right from that first challenge, I think the first foul was Cucurella on Saka, and it didn't let up really from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what made you expect that? Just the fact it's a London derby?
I mean, what is at stake? I mean, 2 top teams fighting for the Premier League, so it's normal.
What problems did they give you tactically, 11 against 11?
The same that we gave to them. The moment that someone finds a superiority, a free play with the space and man-to-man, you have to track back. So it's clear on all the direct balls and second balls and who wins that duel.
At half-time, what did you say to your players and how near the top of the list was don't get a red card now, especially with them down to 10?
Yeah, so we had 4 players with yellow cards, and you could see that they were targeting those players to get the game even, and probably stay away from that. The one probably with biggest risk was Ricky. That's why I had to take him out against Estebao or Neto, that he could come in and look for him. We've done that, but we didn't really settle because the first action in the second half, long ball, they get a foul, wide free kick, corner, and a score. And then emotionally, you need to get through that. And it took us a while to get set, to get fixed, to be much more patient than we were in certain moments, to move them, to generate the spaces, and then we scored a brilliant goal. And then, we had 2 or 3 big chances, but the reality is every time that the keeper catches the ball, they were in transition.
He was a little bit too aggressive, but he wanted to get the ball. As you can see, the tackle is down to the ground, to the foot, to where the ball was. Merino has been brilliant to, just deliver the ball quickly, and probably he was put off by this.
But overall, Chelsea have restricted Arsenal to their least efforts in a game in the Premier League since October 24 there.
With
10 men.
Yeah, I was listening to what Mourinho said. I think that was the key of the game. You expect that when a team goes down to 10 men and the other opposition is Arsenal, the Arsenal has more control of the game, putting more pressure with building up action after action. Chelsea didn't allow that. They just stopped the Arsenal over controlling the game, and also they were dangerous on counter. So I think that has been the key. It's a very mature performance from Chelsea, because I don't think that there will be many teams that they can do to Arsenal in those conditions the same thing.
Yeah, he had a good afternoon. Chelsea only the second team to stop Arsenal winning in any competition since the 24th of September. With 10 men from 38 minutes onwards. I mean, he's calling it a statement result for Chelsea.
It is, and I said the value of the opposition and the type of performance that the team played. Particularly James was excellent. I think he's adapting to the position better and better. He's more comfortable. But today he had such an energy that I didn't see at the times. He was a lot of energy, a lot of quality. Very, very, very good. I think he was an example for everyone.
For him personally now, he just needs to stay fit, doesn't he? Because we know what a good player he is, and just get that run of games.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't doubt his quality. We don't doubt his football intelligence. It's just about, being able to play longer. without getting injured. That is the only concern about him. And also, he's a player, as we said, we were talking with Ian before whether I like him more as a midfielder or as a right back. I used to like him more as a right back, but now I'm reconsidering.
Interesting. And he actually took the corner for Chelsea's goal.
Yeah.
But before we see that, it actually came from a David Raya save, which when we look at it wasn't going in. But obviously David Raya doesn't know that at the time.
You know what, when you watch it, he kind of seems to get a little bit discombobulated, coming there, then changing his mind. So then it's kind of lost maybe the shape where the goal is. But yeah, you can see it's clearly missing there. And, you know, obviously, you know, they score from it. But you can't really look too deeply into that simply because you can never quite tell as a goalkeeper exactly where you are. You just feel like you have to make the save. But it's good movement from Trevor Chalobah. But again, it all comes down to, as Gianfranco will attest to, the quality of the ball in.
Delivery is excellent.
Fantastic.
Absolutely excellent. Also, he's delivering in the most dangerous area.
Yeah.
Normally, I think there is a percentage in free corner kicks. The majority of the goals are scored on the first post or the nearby. And there was an example.
And that was Chelsea's first corner of the game.
Yeah.
Second time, Arsenal conceded from one in the Premier League this season.
But again, you know, even against Tottenham as well, Tottenham are not bad at them as well. Chelsea are very good at them. But I think the main thing with this particular game, as from the boys' point of view, is that, you know, they'll be disappointed because they did go down to 10 men and they know what it's going to take to try and finish this off. But I think with the two centre-halves missing, two new centre-halves coming in, playing against the Chelsea side, I think if it was 11 men, I think it would have been a really tough game, even tougher. I think they would have had more possession. They might have caused us more problems. But I think you take that, and you move on again, especially with the week they've had.
Yeah, as I say, they led for just 11 minutes. Mikel Merino scores some important goals, doesn't he, for us?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does, because he's got a brilliant and uncanny, not even an uncanny knack, he does that. He gets in the box. And the thing is, when he gets in there, Steve, he's finishing and he's heading. It's all on point. It's all precise. You know, Saka does well. You know, obviously Cucurella should know he's coming back on his left foot, but it's the way that Merino, if you watch where he is there, Fofana is, for me, as a defender, central defender, he leaves him now and he's now ball watching, and like he's hoping that the ball doesn't get put into a good position instead of making sure that he's back another yard for Fofana, because another yard he's able to maybe flick it away or something. But great movement from Merino arriving into the box again, and that's what he does so well for us.
Yeah, I think Saka's ball was brilliant, first of all.
Super.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, that is the...
Well, Mikel, a big battle that you're obviously right at the heart of. As you stand here now, emotions, feelings about the performance and the result?
Well, on one hand, disappointed because we didn't win. And obviously, when you wear this T-shirt, you want to win every game. But on the other hand, we know this is going to be a long season. This is a really tough stadium to come, and well, we take the point. Obviously we could have done things better, but I think the team showed good mentality coming back from that goal.
What are your thoughts specifically on what you could have done better, 11 against 11 and then playing 10 men?
Yeah, maybe managing the game a little bit better, understanding what they were trying to do, how they were pressing, the spaces they were freeing for us, and trying to attack those maybe in the first half when they were going man-to-man so aggressively. And then with 10 men, a little bit more of patience with the ball. That doesn't mean complacency and playing like slow, but trying to find, the wings and trying to elaborate a little bit more there to cross with players the box and try to thread a little bit more. Still, obviously, they're a good side, but I feel like the team did a good job today. We take the point, and obviously we keep going, and let's win the next game.
Reece, well played. A real battle of a London derby. That you're pretty proud on the whole of the way you pushed them to the limit today.
Yeah, it's obviously disappointing, to come away with only 1 point. We went down to 10 men pretty early in the game, and that made it difficult. I felt, we had a lot more of the ball when it was 11v11, and going down to 10 made it more difficult.
Yeah, and God, that really says something that you stood here disappointed against a team like that, given that they had that man advantage for so long. Does that tell you about the progress you've made?
No, I think everyone can see, where we are, what we are fighting for. I think today was, a big statement. Even though we wanted to win, There's lots of positives to take from that.
How were you able to give them so many problems tactically in that first sort of 30, 40 minutes before obviously Caicedo got the red card?
No, we worked hard. There's a lot of, analysis and, hard work from the managing staff that, sets us up the right way and wants us to, play and perform in a certain way that, he thinks will hurt them.
Physically, in that midfield particularly, did it feel like a game on the edge? Looking from the sideline, it almost felt like a red card was maybe inevitable in that match.
I mean, if you look at the amount of yellows there were, I thought there was, going to be one more red. There was so many.
Even after Caicedo,
yeah, there was, maybe 7 or 8 players, on yellows throughout, both.
Why do you think that was?
Oh, it's a London derby.
Right.
Everyone wants to win this game.
Daft question.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy the battle in that midfield? There was a time where it was, maybe last season, unusual to see you in there, but now, look, I'm going to give you the Player of the Match award in a minute or two. So you're able to match top players and run a game now.
No, I think Arsenal, they've been at the top for the last few years. Playing them is, we knew it wasn't going to be easy, and no, their midfield is tough, but we done what we could today and tried to play our game and hurt them off the ball.
Yeah. Did you get a view of the red card for Moises?
No, I haven't seen it back, so no, I have no comment on that.
Fine. What did the manager say at half time about reshaping you?
No, he changed, the formation slightly. We knew we wasn't, going to have the ball as much, and they was going to come, and we had to, soak up the pressure and try and catch them, on the counter, which, we did a few times, but, we didn't have the final touches.
Yeah, and as you said already, though, despite the disappointment, a statement performance matching them like that.
Yeah, I think, I'm proud of the boys. It was, electric, here at Stamford Bridge today, and, we take a point and move forward.
Well done, Reece. You are, as I said earlier, the player of the match.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
They get attracted by the ball. They stop ball watching and lose the opposition who is going behind them. And it happens so often. It's such a common. If it was probably an Italian coach, he would be fuming or something like that. A defender that loses his man in the box is not acceptable.
Is that the fine line of concentration sometimes in a big game like that? That can be the difference.
It is. But it's very, very important. It's one of the things that the Italian coaches, they're very strict on. The defender, when the ball is on the left, one eye has to be there, but the body doesn't have to be square towards the ball. You have to have a body open, and you have to be watching the ball, but above all, the opposition. It's the opposition who's going to score, not the ball. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Your man that cannot get the ball, whether the ball is delivered to the first post, the second post, or to the middle, your man doesn't have to touch the ball. Stop.
Mikel Merino's 10th goal for club and country this season. Right at the end, you were out of your chair when that ball went in.
Well, I think that with this one, it's just, I'm thinking like Gyökeres is going to... Is this the Gyökeres chance?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, he's going to... If it's me, here, Steve, I'm screaming so loud, anyone in front of me is going to cringe or going to drop out. That's what I've always been told. You have to shout, let them know that you're coming, because then Timber moves his head out of the way and Gyökeres just comes in and gets a clean header, free header. I'll be devastated with that. You know what I mean? He's got to let him know. He has to let him know when that's coming in. Victor Gyökeres has got to let Jira Timber know that I'm coming, because that's a massive opportunity missed.
How pleased can Chelsea be with that performance, and how pleased can Reece James be with his own performance today?
I think firstly for Chelsea, they'll be very pleased. I think the manager will be in that dressing room congratulating the players for sticking to the task and understanding it was a naive tackle by Caicedo, but how focused they were to ensure that Arsenal weren't going to get clear chances. They worked tirelessly as a team. Everybody, every last one of them gave absolutely everything, and that's what it's all about. In order to be successful, you've got to sacrifice yourself as an attacker, for sure. When you've got 10 men, it's important for you as one of the attackers to not necessarily think about scoring goals, and usually you'd reserve your energy to score goals, whereas in this case you reserve your energy to defend and ensure that you're making it difficult for the opposition. as for Reece James, I mean, we're talking about a player who's been in the first team environment now for many years and has become a senior player for this group. He's been at the club nearly 20 years and struggled with injuries throughout his career, specifically over the last couple of years. But there's no doubt he's an absolutely unbelievable football player. The versatility he brings to this team, the set pieces that he can bring, he's got all the tools to be able to play in midfield and to play right back. He was an absolute beast today. Gave him so much running power in midfield. It was a very, very experienced and professional performance from him, and he played very, very well.
We were saying, Theo, there aren't many players with England who play in one position for their club and another for their country.
It's brilliant.
Unique right now.
It's very unique, and as well, it's a great, not problem, but it's another option that obviously Thomas Tuchel can have in certain games, because his delivery itself, set pieces, which are so important for a lot of clubs and a lot of national teams these days. But what I'm really pleased to see in his development is his growth and his leadership skills, because he's obviously been questioned in the past about is he a leader, is he a captain? He clearly is on today's performance. Rice and they had Caicedo next to him, and he's player of the match. For me, looking at the Arsenal sense, they'd be disappointed and they didn't test him enough. But look, he was absolutely outstanding today. He really was, from start to finish.
The game was really in the balance, wasn't it? I suppose the sense was that Arsenal were going to push for a winning goal, having equalised with half an hour to go. We had to wait, really, Theo, until the last seconds of the game for this moment. What has happened here is Gyökeres surely has got to be screaming at Timber to get out of the way of that.
This is when you get desperate towards the end of games and you want to obviously commit loads of bodies forward. You always feel, though, if a right back's in this position, I would be asking questions, Gyökeres now. I'll be pulling him and just saying, look, this is my space. This is why I'm on the pitch. But look, he's been doing it all season, but just, he'd be disappointed with that. Gyökeres, yes, I think he would have been calling it. There's no doubt of that. I think we wouldn't see that. But it just annoys me when players are just out of position. But I understand why Arsenal committed so many bodies, but that's what they faced today, and it was disappointing on their side.
Was that a late let-off for Chelsea?
Very much so. You know, I'm there thinking, Timber! And I'm like, all of a sudden, it's like, you better move. Like, you know, I need to be the guy coming on the pitch and attacking this thing, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, just move out the way.
But Gyökeres is sometimes too nice, I think. He'd have been fuming. He'd have been fuming about that. Of course, you're going home thinking to yourself, I want to say something to him, you know, but you know what? He was in my spot. And at the end of the day, he got the leap, he had the power, the connection was all off.
Would have been some story, wouldn't it, for Gyökeres, back from injury, coming off the bench, and that was going to be his moment to win the game for Arsenal in these late stages. It didn't happen. And I suppose Arsenal were favourites, really, Theo, after that red card in the first half to Moises Caicedo. Daniel spoke at half-time about it looking more like a red card once it is slowed down. When you saw it first time, did you think red straight away?
No, not initially, because I felt the referee actually continued to play the game. In that sense, if you think it's a red card, you're quick to react in that position, because considering this is one of the best referees in the Premier League.
He's actually got a really good view of it, probably better than anyone.
And like Daniel was saying at half-time, the delay, where he's obviously got someone in his ear just trying to re-referee, like we were saying, to give him a yellow, just to delay the decision so they could just really monitor it in that sense. I think that's the problem with VAR. I think you need to initially go with your initial decision straight away, and then you can obviously react in that sense. But I just and allowed the game to continue. Normally red card, you see it straight, red card. So, look, I think the right decision was made.
Because the game actually played on, didn't it, down towards this end in front of us. He might have wanted to see what happened in the rest of that phase of play. And then he pulled out a yellow card almost to mark it, didn't he? Yeah, no, to mark obviously what he was going to commit to. But look, I just think Caicedo does not need to be doing that in that position anyway. You know, we can speak about VAR and all that side of things. However, I think Caicedo is the one who you kind of felt it was coming from his initial start of the game. I felt that was going.
Looks like it, to be honest. You know, you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of one of those challenges. Caicedo's a top-class football player, and he'll be absolutely fuming with himself right now, knowing that he's made a big mistake that's going to cost his team in terms of his availability moving forward. And their fourth red card of the season, twice as many as any other team at this stage, which is not ideal 13 games into a season when you are potentially pushing on for a title. Having said all that, they still managed to find a way to get themselves in front. Did that come as a surprise at the start of the second half? It did, I think, for everyone in the arena, how loud they screamed. You know, it was a magnificent cross into the box. The connection from Chalobah, who again I thought was brilliant today. And adding those goals to a game, you know, in these tight situations, it's two teams who are the leaders in terms of goals from set pieces. We're used to seeing Arsenal doing things like this to the opposition, and today it's Chelsea.
The new set piece kings.
Yeah, showing them what it's all about. They've got the players in the box that can make those connections, but it's always important when, we talk about how many set piece goals teams score, but I think having players who can deliver crosses like that time and time again, that is also a unique skill set. Not every team has someone who can deliver a ball right to a player and consistently do it. The repetitions that these guys are putting out, the output in terms of, we're going to put it in this zone and it goes into that zone, and it's evolving. And I think specialists, we talk about long throw specialists, Liam Delap's dad was one of them. Now we're seeing set piece specialists, specifically corner guys, and it's like we're seeing a lot more assists, less in open play and more from set pieces now.
But a details team like Arsenal would be devastated to concede in that manner by the same token.
It will just show the fact he wants Saliba and Gabriel back as quick as possible, because I felt throughout the whole game were